Angaza and our colleagues here. In the interest of time, I think we invite Winnie to start us off with the reading of the statement.
So thank you so much, Kawive. The title of our press release this morning is The Angaza Movement Preliminary Observation of the 2022 Elections. And so I'll start off with reading it. We, the Angaza Movement, wish to congratulate Kenyans for the restraint they have exercised despite the emerging concerns on the outcome of the 2022 elections. It has been a tumultuous season with positives and negatives that require acknowledgement and serious reflection if they were to enhance the electoral process that has remained deficient in trust over the years, despite massive investment of hope and resources. Kenyan expected the IEBC to conduct an election that is free and fair, simple, accurate, verifiable, secure, accountable, and transparent. It is these parameters that we're going to use this morning to evaluate the performance of the IEBC. We have made the following observation of the electoral process. 1. Failure of the KIMS kit. Over 200 KIMS kits failed to identify voters during voting. This translates, in our view, this translates to a lot of voters who may have been disfranchised. In many cases, it took the IEBC many hours to allow the use of manual register to identify voters, which often resulted in voter suppression as disappointed aspiring voters were turned away or left in frustration. Procedures adopted were totally inconsistent from one polling station to another. Consistency and transparency are legal requirements and are also very critical in building trust in the integrity of the electoral process. Where KIMS kit failed to identify persons through biometric data, there was no systematic procedures for identification of voters through alphanumerical procedures or manual register. With different polling stations adopting different procedures, adopting different procedures for identification of voters through alphanumeric and manual register. The process of transmission and verification of the results and eventual tallying once again faltered and left Kenyans in the dark for several days, feeding suspicion and malpractice. This was after a start that on the face of it appeared very refreshing, efficient, transparent, and gave Kenyans hope of a greater transparency than in the past recent election. The lack of civic and voter education can be attributed to an unusual high number of rejected votes. While the issue of the rejected votes has been settled by the Supreme Court, it continues to raise questions around the aggregate tally at the end of the elections. The other issue is the unilateral and incomplete announcement of election results by the chair of the IEBC. The announcement of the results at the National Tallying Center left more questions than answers. It was done in the absence of the announcement of results from at least 28 constituencies, if not more. This was a significant proportion due to the multiple failures of the kits. The announcement also did not consider the numerous queries and comments of the party agents on the floor of the National Tallying Center. The number, potential impact, and gravity of the concerns raised are therefore unknown. Most disturbingly are the concerns raised by the 4 commissioners about the results being incomplete and therefore unverified based on the questionable and faulty Form 34C. The disunity of the Commission was underscored by the fallout of most of the commissioners who announced simultaneously at a different venue in the city that they had no confidence in the final tallied result, and the issues concerning the verification and other concerns raised by them had been ignored. They alleged that the chairperson did not consult, that the results were incomplete and verified, and therefore they could not take ownership of the final results as announced. The division has impacted the trust and credibility of the results in the eye of the public. The other issue was the chaos during the tallying process. So we as Angaza Movement also condemn the chaos by political actors towards the end of tallying in Bomas. Violence is never a solution and models unacceptable behavior